Alright guys, welcome to another tutorial video where this time the much requested triceps will be trained. Why are triceps so important? Because they take up 2/3 of the size of the mass of the upper arm. So when you flex your arm, you want this nice hang beneath the tricep, beneath your arm. The biceps only 1/3, the triceps 2/3. So you want that nice big mass, so in your side chest or just when you're walking and standing around, you want that big meaty arm. Don't focus too much on the biceps, but focus more on the triceps. Now, the triceps means three heads. And we are going to focus on the biggest head first to create that hang down here. That comprises of most of the mass of the triceps. And how do you focus on that long head of the triceps? It is by doing an overhead motion. So anything that stretches out the triceps overhead, because the moment you do this with your arm, you get a stretch here. And as we all know, the more you stretch a muscle under load, the more it'll grow, the more stimulus you'll get. Why do I choose for a cable on here rather than a dumbbell? Because this keeps the tension more on the tricep. But even better, guys, and look at this. So I'm taking, this is an ankle cuff. You can use, you can grab it here if you want, but this is more comfortable. You can hold it like this, and it kind of takes away some of the weird torque resistance you feel in your hand when you're doing this movement. So when you start out, usually on a unilateral movement, you start with the weakest or smallest side first. But look at how this cable will be aligned with the upper arm. So I'm doing it overhead like this. If you now look at this cable, it will be perpendicular to the upper arm when I do this motion. So I'm going down. And when you're going down, you want to feel that full stretch. And when you feel that full stretch, this is where the growth happens. Now when you go upwards, you don't want to go all the way like here, because look at this. I can just keep standing like this forever, which means the tension is on the joint and not the muscle. But if you go down, now it becomes more difficult to hold. And then you kind of know, okay, now the tension is on the muscle, which is what I want. So you do this. I like to do 3 to 4 sets of this, about 10 to 15 reps. Let's move to the other arm. Here you can see it also. You want the cable to kind of be perpendicular to this arm, because then all the tension goes to the muscle and not through the joint. So if you put this too low or too high, the cable will actually pull on your elbow too much rather than the tricep muscle, and that will cause elbow pain, which is a question I get so much when training triceps. How do you get rid of the elbow pain? And that's by choosing movements that align with the muscle. So the tricep works by just a hinge joint like this. So you don't want something that kind of goes in the other direction of that hinge joint. Whoops, normally there is no way I would interrupt a workout video, but this is a special week as it will be Black Friday week. This Sunday, 12 p.m. Central European Time, up to 70% discount on my favorite ESN supplements with code Wesley. Anyway, enough talk, let's keep training. So now that we worked the long head of the triceps, it is time for the short head. And guess what? We can just keep standing right here. So now you put it all the way up. You might want to choose a nice and light weight, because as I mentioned, the long head is the big part. The short head, as the name suggests, is kind of a smaller head of the triceps. So here, you can once again grab this, or you can grab it right here if you don't have an ankle cuff. Put your hand in here, and now also look at the cable. As I'm going down, look at how my arm is positioned and this cable. They're going into the same direction. So if I stand all the way over here, that's not good, because now my arm is going down, this cable is going that way, which means there's a strange force on the elbow. You want to stand right here to really keep this cable in alignment with this arm, then go all the way up, feel that beautiful stretch, but now we can go for the contraction. So one movement, your tricep routine should focus on the stretch, and one at least on the contraction. So here you can focus on both. So go all the way down, feel that contraction in the short head, because you really want to feel that squeeze, and squeeze in those details in the triceps. Get blood in there, go all the way up again, and go back down. This just feels incredible, guys. Let me just show you, if you've done a different variation of this, not with one arm, but actually with two arms. Usually it's with a straight bar. So now I can show you why some of you guys have elbow pain. Because this is important. You can train your triceps as hard as you want. With elbow pain, you cannot train really to the max. So what you want to do, so normally, you grab it like this. So if I go down now, you can see the elbow is pointing those directions. You see that? So I'm going all the way up, going down, but the elbow is pointing that direction instead of like this. And as you can see, the moment I want to put my elbow to the body, the hand is moving along with it, which is why a free motion ankle cuff or a cable works way better to align with the triceps. Let me just show you again. Going all the way up, going all the way down. It feels great now, but just imagine year after year of doing this, the tension is going straight up, but the elbow is going to the side. So it's a really weird torque and tension to the elbow, which is not what we want. We don't want to work the joint, we want to work the muscle. So here is a variation of the straight bar. If you still want to work both arms at the same time, because, you know, if you're a serious trainer, it's kind of boring to always train everything with one arm at a time. You want to lift some heavy weights. So how do you do that? You kind of have to go for something like this. So I mentioned at the beginning, you want it to be freely moving, your hand to be freely moving. And with this, it allows you to still move the hand freely, like this, but still move two arms at the same time. And allows you to put the elbow a little closer to the body, as you can see. So now I can go down, and the tension is a little bit more on the triceps, a little bit less on the elbow, rather than doing something like this. So you do want to keep in mind to keep the elbows close to the body. Kind of feels unnatural, but that is the way to do it without any elbow pain. Just like this. And a lot of people are wondering, where do you get this D-handle bar? It is by Gym Pin. Code VG10 for a discount. So, as I mentioned, we have three tricep heads. We just worked the long head, we worked the short head, but what about the medial head, the third head? Well, honestly, usually we train the triceps after the chest, or somewhere in the week you've trained your delts with a press, or the chest with a press. And pressing movements, they work the medial tricep head already. So in my opinion, you don't necessarily need to train it, because you can't even really see it. It's actually beneath, in between the short and the long head, pushing the both heads outward. So you will get meatier, bigger arms with it. But again, you kind of train it already with the pressing movement. But if you still want to train it separately, you can do so by, for example, a close grip bench press. But then again, the elbows are going to the side, the wrists. It's all messed up after a few years. You want to stay to something and stick to something that feels a lot more natural and better purely for the triceps. And that is with this beautiful machine. So this one is by Gym 80. which actually allows you to work each arm independently or both arms at the same time. So what you want to do if you work both arms at the same time, you kind of want to sit in the machine facing away from it. So like this, because you kind of want to do this motion in your head, in your mind. So you want to kind of face away from it, like this. Put your hands a little bit to the back. And when you go upwards, you want to move your body forward a little bit, because right now I feel the stretch in the triceps. And once you go down, you move your body backwards, because now I can contract the tricep nice and hard. So going up, to stretch, going down, the contraction. That way you can really work those triceps nicely. And if you want to work the chest, then you kind of open up your arms like this and squeeze the chest, stretch the chest, because we're not training the chest, we're training the triceps. So keep the elbows as close to the body as possible. Feel the stretch, feel the contraction, and use your body motion to get into that feeling. And if you want to feel it even more, pause a second here, really squeeze it here, and go all the way up again with your arms, feeling the stretch. This one you might want to say around 8 to 12 reps, a little heavier, to make sure you put a lot of mass on those triceps in this way. And this is a great way, in my opinion, to finish off a tricep workout. So if you work the arms, you did the biceps, then the triceps, and then this would be a nice finisher as you want to focus on the really visual heads, the small head and the long head with the tricep. Now obviously there are a lot more movements you can do, but these are the movements I like to do because you can do this for years and years on end without any elbow pain. Of course, I realize you have the overhead dumbbell extension, you have the skull crushers, but I've done those in the past and my elbows were, let's just say, not happy with those movements. We also, Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, all the greats, but all of them, you know, they developed great triceps, but also a lot of joint pain along the way, injuries here and there, and that's not what you want when you want to be a long, successful fitness goer, bodybuilder, somebody who likes to be big and strong in the gym anyway. So these are the movements I like to do for longevity, muscle mass, strength, everything. I like to stay around the 10 to 15 rep range. This one a little lower, 8 to 12, 3 to 4 sets each, you know, once to twice a week at least if you want big arms. And that is the way to create big, meaty triceps with a lot of mass on there, so you look good in every angle, every pose. Don't skip on those triceps. And of course, guys, let me know what you want to see next. Which muscle group do you want to see next? Or do you want to see a muscle group you already covered with more traditional or creative movements you haven't seen yet before? Anyway, guys, thank you a whole lot for watching. And don't forget to stay golden.
Hey, yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get